ways that allow systems and entities to connect, and of course, their API contracts and payload. Would go deep into that, and I'll just show us what that really looks like. And of course, there are API keys. API keys are secret keys that help you connect with a third-party service. So because we are going to be using Supabase in the course of this workshop, we're also going to look at what that looks like. Then, of course, databases, they are a structured collection of data stored and managed electronically, and there are different types. But for most people, when they vibe code, they use Postgres. And we'll just also look at what that look like. You're able to visualize your database, think of your entity relationship, how they are mapped together. We'll look at it here too. Then another bit is authentication. So authentication is how you are able to essentially look at a particular user or a particular system, assign an identity, or know what that user or system is all about before granting them access to your resources or your system. So it basically means before you come on my system, I want to know what you are. I want to know if you have the needed qualification to come on board my system. So you also need to learn that concept. Then for data types really talks about, how variables and how data I'll define it as the values that we ascribe to different variables in our system, right? And there are different times. We have integers, strings, booleans. These are super important because at some point when you're trying to write code, you want a particular a particular entity to hold a particular data type because you need it to do one thing or the other thing. Then for rate limiting is important because it protects you from DDoS or from black actors that want to run your server down. There is this thing that we do as users where we go on an application and we're clicking a particular button a lot of times. Like we're clicking it just to make sure it responds, right? What we're trying to do is we're sending requests to the server. And because we're doing it a lot of times, it queues up. If a lot of people are doing that, it's a heavy load on the server and it can cause things to crash down. So what rate limiting is doing is I want to be able to limit a particular user's request to my server. Say in 2, 3 minutes, you should only be able to send up to 10 requests. After that, I won't be able to take any of your requests. Then the last one is version control. Version control is super important. It is how you manage the changes in your codes and your documents so that you can collaborate effectively. You're able to roll back if something is not working, and you're also able to track the historical improvement of your application. So these are technical foundations you can't ignore. You would always get to see these things pop up as you vibe code more. Then, in terms of handing over, as PMs, we are really the bridge that is trying to tie together business needs and, of course, customer experience and customer needs, right? You're not a bottleneck, and we shouldn't behave like one because of new skills, right? So, to hand over properly, you want to be able to document whatever it is you've done with a clear code base and a README explaining the application, the setup pages, the tech stack that you used, and how everything is being stringed together. I'll show you how to generate this in Cursor. A README is a document that shows how your application is put together, and it's super important. Then you also want to be able to handle the data and deployment bits to the engineer or the stakeholder like you'll be handing over to. Yeah, if there is a seed data here is when you're trying to test your application, there are some times when you don't have a lot of users and you want to use data that is not live user data, but you just want to quickly test things. So you just come up with a random piece of information or random piece of data, and then you're able to test your application with it. You want to be able to, create that set of instruction. So whoever is picking it up, they are able to do that for themselves without going to and fro trying to figure out what is in the application, especially when it comes to the data bit. Then for access, sharing access should be as easy as possible, especially if you're using GitHub. You'll be able to share access to your repo, the API keys, I'll speak towards sharing API keys because this is super important. Then also, you want to add notes on limitation, especially rate limiting. If there is a concept like if you've built in that concept into your application, then ask and recommended improvement. So in the last 2, 3 months now, there have been issues around security concerns. And so before I dive deep into this, I would want to do another vibe check to know if we're following and if there are questions so far. So I will just check in with because I can't really see the chat box right now.
All right. Is there a specific question you want them to vibe check to? But you already have thumbs up already. Eunice is giving a thumbs up to you. Somebody is saying it's following. Shibomi is giving thumbs up. Rashida is giving thumbs up. Mata is giving thumbs up. Sasha is giving thumbs up. Chisom is saying you are following you. Awesome. A lot of thumbs up are
Great,
coming
great.
in.
Nice then. Happy to hear that, guys. So for security concerns, right, in the last 2, 3 months, we're seeing situation, especially with replit agents, where you would have vibe coded your application, and afterwards your agent will go on to drop your database. And what dropping database means here is actually just deleting your database from the application. It means the application is useless, right? And so because of that, uh, foundational model companies that are building on foundational model like Cursor, like Replit, like Lovable, they are building in security protocols to allow, like, to prevent this kind of situation. But even at that, there are real security concerns you need to take note of when you're vibe coding. One is hard-coded secret. Because we're not actually writing the codes ourselves, the agents sometimes actually embed sensitive information like API keys, database credentials directly into the code. And if there is something about like our code when it is being published to the internet, anyone can access it. So it's super important that we guard against hard-coded secrets. This is super important. Then the other bit is inadequate access control. So today, because AI generated codes are focused on core functionality, sometimes they neglect proper authentication, which is identifying who a particular person is or an entity is before coming on board our system. And they don't do proper authorization checks. Authorization means, am I allowed to access a particular resource? So authentication and authorization, they go hand in hand sometimes, and AI generated codes don't really perform well. So you have to actually specify. We get into that too. Then outdated or insecure patterns, because AI models are trained on vast and just a lot of outdated data sets from public repository. Sometimes they reproduce all these insecure and deprecated coding practices and patterns, and then you see them do the same within your code base, and then it causes that gap or that loophole that bad actors then have a way to like just find in. So another way to do this is to do some security sanitation when you're done um with your particular application. So I'll just move to the next screen. So to the part which I'm so excited about, we are going to be building an application, right? And for this application, it's going to be a vacation planner for friends. And it's going to be a tool that allows, if you're trying to, put together some friends so you guys can travel, you're going to be able to centralize information, the travel, the accommodation, the activity ideas, and all of those things. And you guys will be able to, get the gist from here. And let's go for it. Let me know if you're still seeing my screen, so we'll go deep into it.
Yes, so you can see on your screen. Let's go.
All right, thank you. So, we'll name our application Troller or Trailer, right? I just came up with a random name. And just like I mentioned, the first thing you want to do is to be able to limit the scope of what you want to build. And this is what I'll do when I want to write out my first outcome, or what essentially it is I'm trying to, think about. I make it as simple as possible such that anyone that picks it up can understand. And this is what I'm trying to replicate for even agents. When agents see what I'm trying to do, they're able to get it, right? So yeah, for the vacation planner, I'm saying I want to build a simple travel planner. When I log in, I want to be able to see the list of upcoming trips. It should show the name, date in full, and the number of people who will be going. When I create a new trip, it should show underneath previous trips. Under the menu overview, I should be able to see upcoming activities and tasks. There should be a profile button. When clicked, it should show the settings and logout button. There should be a CTA to create a new trip, and on clicking the CTA, it should display a form which collects the trip name, destination, description, start date, end date, and then I came on here to talk about my entity relationship. Also very, very simple. And I said trip should have multiple activities. Trip can have multiple tasks. Trip should have a trip itinerary. A trip itinerary should have multiple flights. Trip itinerary should have multiple activities. Trip itinerary should include hotel stays. Stay should have multiple hotels. Stay should have multiple days. Hotel can have multiple days. And the design should be modern and it should pop. Like something as simple as this, such that anyone can literally understand it. So what I do first is to come to Cloud or Chat GPT, which is what I'll do now. You come here. So I'm not using my Chat GPT now, so I'm using Cloud. So you come here and you just try to you just create a new project. Okay, so I don't think I can create a new project. So I start with this test and I'll just paste my prompt. Then I just send it in. Then after that, I go to V0. So what I've done is to copy that exact same prompt and put in here because it takes V0 about 6-8 minutes. So I've just done that. So that's what I was saying. This is the exact same prompt here. And then it thinks for 5 minutes. It suggests to you. I tell it I don't want to take any action right now when it was suggesting Supabase. Then it just shows you all of these things. Then it shows you this application. Once you've gotten this, I want you to be able to like just click around and see what you can do in the application currently. But because we're not doing our vibe coding in V0, V0 just helps us, get our first look into what our actual application would look like. So first, just so we're following, I paste this my prompt in Cloud or ChatGPT so that I'm able to do some validation around my specification or my spec. Then I also put the prompt in V0 so I'm able to get this initial look, and this is what it looks like. Then after that, there is a tool called Google Stitch. And if I copy the exact same prompt and I put here, when you're using um, Google Stitch is used in generating designs and it's by Google. And you should put this in experimental mode to get the best out of the models, right? And you click to generate design. So we're not wasting time. I think I've also put this together, yeah. So the same prompt that I came up with, I just put in Google Stitch and then it shows you. Then I'll just show you what Google Stitch was able to generate. Let me know if you can see this. Is this clear enough?
Yes, it is. We can see Wanderlust welcome back page.
Yeah, cool. So based on that same prompt, Google Stitch is just helping with design. No code, no backend or anything. So it just generates this for you. You can see what my home page would look like. You can see when you click to create a new trip, this is what that page looks like. If you've booked or you've created a new trip, say trip to Paris, this is what it will look like in terms of flights, hotel, and activities. Then you also see your own profile information. Google Stitch is going to help with this, super fast and reliable. So if we go back to our V0, what I want you to do here is then to download this as a zip. So you come here, then you download zip. if you're downloading zip from V0, you're downloading the entire application as it is right now. So I'll just download this. So I've downloaded it. Then I'll show us what the cursor interface looks like. Please let me know when you can see the cursor interface. Okay, let me try to reshare. Can you confirm you can see the cursor interface?
Yes, but is there a way we can zoom it in?
Yeah, let me see. So we're still going to zoom in a bit, but
Okay.
you see this cursor, open project, clone repo, and connect via
Yes.
SSH. Great.
Yeah.
What we'll do now is to open what we've just downloaded. Let me try to look at my download. Let me make sure I've unzipped it. Okay. So it's called Travel Planner 1. Yeah. So when you open the project that you've built in V0, when you bring it to Cursor, then this is where we now properly vibe code. Um, like I mentioned before, Cursor is another instance of this particular ID developers use. What's the name now? I'll remember on later, but I'll just let you guys know. But I'll quickly go around Cursor to show you guys what is happening and how you can get the best out of Cursor. So on your left here is, let me zoom in, just like you mentioned. Is this okay? Let me know if this is displaying clearly.
Yes, it is. I think I'm
All right.
good.
So the the application we're looking at in V0, so this is what it looks like in terms of files. That's what you notice first when you open the project in Cursor. So you look at the files. On this left pane here is where Cursor helps you identify and help you seed all your files for your project. All the projects you're going to be opening in Cursor, you are always going to see them here, all the files that will be modifying, all the codes that will be writing, they will be speaking to all these files. Then this search button just literally talks about, I want to search for a particular entity in my file. You quickly want to get there. This helps with that. This particular button is you connecting your GitHub repository. And you should do that so that you're able to save changes when you've made or modified your code. Then this just helps with like you getting items from VS Code marketplace. Yeah, VS Code is what I want to like remember. VS Code is a popular ID developers use. So if you want to get any of these, but you don't want to bother yourself with any of these, you just want to keep things very simple. So we have the code, we have the files rather. Then where we're going to be dealing with ourselves is on this right side here, where we'll just be chatting with the agent and the agent will be modifying the codes. Another bit I want you to be aware of is this downward or this pane that we have here. We have the problems, which highlight anywhere there is a problem in all the codes that we've written or everything that we've vibe coded. It shows you if there's a problem. The output of the terminal shows issues around, maybe we've typed into the terminal and want a response. This shows it. The debug console is if we're trying to debug and where we'll be getting our information. Then the terminal just shows the CLI. So, and these things are very easy. I don't want us to look at this particular interface and it feels like, oh, I'm an engineer now. No, it shouldn't be like that. It's super easy. And the first thing I would always say you start with is to first look at the structure of your database. And yeah, because I mentioned that like we're chatting with the agents, so that's what vibe coding really is. So let me just bring this here. So can come here to say, what does my database look like? What does the application database look like? So it generates, oh, it says I've hit my limit. Let me try to change this. 1 minute. So another thing about Cursor is you are able to change the different agents that you use for writing your codes, right? It's not something that other vibe coding tools actually help you with. So this is super important to know here. Just a minute. Uh, Let me try another agent. Mm, 1 minute. So just give me a moment. I'll try to join and sign out of this particular account. I've hit the usage limit for this month. I was trying to try out things earlier on. Uh-oh. Just 1 moment. Let me stop sharing. Just give me a minute. Esther, back to you for a moment. I quickly want to log out of my course and
All right, no problem. Yes. I believe it's been interesting so far. I can see responses to just somebody asking a question, which I'm busy currently using, and about 4 or 5 people actually answered the question. It shows how we enjoying the session. So imagine this kind of session in for like 8, 10, 12 weeks. I mean, power packed like this, practical session, whereby you're able to build your own AI product from this particular session. So I want to use this opportunity while we are waiting for Ibukwali Deji to actually present to us one of our first cohorts of AI product management. Very interesting. I mean, imagine if you are getting this kind of value from this premium session of vibe coding with peers. Now talk of what you'll be getting for I mean full length. I mean, and it's what we have there is that it's just few slots so that we'll have all the time where you have where we have facilitators like people could just sit down with you just for you to have practical sessions, for you to have your first own AI built product out of this session. So my colleague will be in the chat box and then we'll be dropping the link for you to be able to register for this session. And just like I mentioned, it's our first cohort and there is a price for this first cohort that we have upcoming in October 25. October 25, you can just mark that in your date. My colleague will be dropping it in the chat box where you just click on the link, you save your seat, and then just so I give you an update and heads up, just where you have the last question, like where do you hear this program? Just make sure you put TLC event. TLC event to actually help us track us so that whatever we need to quickly chat up with you just for us to be able to give you necessary discounts that is accorded to you. But yeah, there is a first quarter discounts. Just make sure you make use of this opportunity to be able to save your seat. And then, like I also mentioned, it is few slots available because you are looking to manage, I mean, few number of people for them to sit down, the facilitators, because we have facilitators from Europe, from North America that have built AI products. I mean, and then they'll show you practical experiences, just like what Ibuku is showing us on this for. Hi, Ibuku. Are you good to go now? Or do you still need more time?
I still need more time. Just give me a moment, please.
Awesome. Okay. If you have any questions, I've dropped our Slido link where you just drop whatever question you have. And if you need, probably you just need further follow-up on how this paid session work for the 8 to 10 weeks that I just proposed. Just take a look at, I think my colleague has dropped the link. Just take a look at how the modules that we have upcoming, the curriculum that we've sat down with subject matter experts on AI who have actually built products like this. We've sat down to refine the curriculum. So you might just take a look at it, take a look at the brochure. And if you think you need to sit with us, talk to our admission team, just for you to be able to get more insights for this particular program, we are all here to do that to you. All right, my colleague is on the chat box. We will be ready to answer any question you have. But please, but it is a one-in-one program that we have for you. And like I said, it is a limited slot, So you wouldn't want to miss this particular session. As for so you know, you might also want to take a look at our Luma page where we have programs like this. We have one coming up on Saturday, moving from non-technical to technical products roles coming up on Saturday, where we have wonderful panelists that'll be answering a lot of questions from how you can move from a non-technical product manager to a technical product manager. You may want to also save your seats on our Luma page for that. Another upcoming programs, as long as local tech roles is concerned, ranging from marketing to design to products. You might want to take a look at all of that as well. But for this AI products management program coming up October 25th, I am bringing it to your table because it's our first cohort. It's exciting because especially in this AI era, you might want to give it a look. Ibuko, we are waiting for you. We can't wait to continue with this wonderful session.
Yeah, just a moment. I'm trying to upgrade my cursor.
All
Yeah.
right. Also from my hand, let me see if we already have questions. If you have questions, like I mentioned, just do well to just drop it in the Slido link that I shared with you. Also, my colleague has shared a couple of links. If you do have questions, we are always ready to reach out. Okay, I can see some questions, but I want to believe Ibukun would be able to answer all of these, just so you don't miss your line of thoughts in this line of teaching as well. There are quite a number of questions already sitting here for you. If you have any other questions that you want to ask, please do well to ask this question.
Yeah, please, you can drop your question as I'm trying to switch my laptop. Just drop your question.
All right, no problem. Okay, uh, just so we save time and so I put context to, oh, how do you get the recording of the session? This session is currently on replay on YouTube. We are live on YouTube. So just go to YouTube, search for Treford, and then you are going to see our live session, or I'll just drop a link to this particular session on YouTube. So as I'm speaking, I'm actually live on YouTube. So you can actually watch the replay on YouTube. Precious. So just to also make good use of this time, I also want to share an interface of how you can register for the AI product management class, just like this. Let me see. So yes, my colleague has shared the link. When you click on the link, this is what you will be seeing. Exactly. Master AI product integration and lead the future of product development. As you can see, we have our first quote price. You might want to grab this particular price that is because classes start October 25th. And then after October 25th, subsequent session, we have the quote price for that. And then when you click on enroll now, it's going to bring you to this particular page where you fill in your details. And then this particular section where it says, how did you hear about this program? Just do well to fill in TLC event. You might as well want to share this particular link with a friend or colleagues that you believe that is going to benefit a lot from AI Product Manager, just the way we are learning with Ibukun on this particular call. Okay, somebody asking a question? Okay, thank you so much. My colleague has dropped the YouTube live link in case you want to catch up on the session. All right, thank you so much, Fermi, for sharing. If you have any other question, please do well to ask. All right, just another piece of information. We also have our here product strategy course on our Treford Pro. Treford Pro is more like a self-paced course where you can just take this course within a couple of hours and you're done with it. And the good news is like it's actually free on the platform. My colleague will be dropping that link in the bit as well. AI product strategy course, and the person that actually takes the course will actually be one of our facilitators for AI product management. I mean, a foreigner, right? Outside of African continent, it will be very interesting to see. Hands-on practical projects where you use your AI projects from from the session. I can't wait to see a lot of AI products rolling out from this particular session. So do well to make use of the opportunity. We'll do well to serve you better with valuable and insightful content that is going to upskill your career. Um, is
Yeah.
there
So
anywhere I can help from here? What do you want
so
me
I'm
to?
trying to switch my laptop so I can use my other account.
Okay.
So it's currently loading, so I'm very close now.
Okay.
Yeah, just a moment. Apologies, guys. You can just drop your questions or attend to them.
Okay, so the person that is still asking for the recording of the session, I think I mentioned that it's already live on YouTube. My colleague has dropped the YouTube link, so you can just do well after the session. You can just watch the replay of the YouTube link. And somebody also asked, yes, for the AI session, for the AI product strategy course. Yeah, it's free on Treford Pro. You might want to explore that. My colleague already dropped that in the group chat. That's the last link in the comment section. All right, Ibuku is ready for us. Ibuku, if you have started speaking, your mic is still muted because we can see your screen.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh yeah. Apologies, guys. If you vibe code a lot, you get to use your usage limit. You get to use it up on time, and that was what happened. Apologies on that. Let me know if you can still see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
All right, good. So I sent the same request to our agent and like, what does the application database look like? And then you see all of these things. You don't really need to bother yourself much about what it is. Just go straight to like the response. And here you see the application database structure. What the technology is, it's currently using local storage, and the format is JSON, and the scope, it's just dealing with the client side only, which is not good. Then you get to see the different type of entities. So we have user, we have current user session, we have trips, you have activities, you have task, you have flight, and you have hotels. Then you also see the relationship too, like one to many, one to many, and there are some other sites, many to many. There are other types of relationship, entity relationship, or so what you want to do here is for you to can you visualize it? Can you visualize the entities or the ERD? So once it generates like this, you can put a particular request to the background and start another one. So it gives you a diagram like this. So you can see how your entities are related and what your primary keys are, what your foreign keys are. Developers and engineers will understand this better, but you also want to be able to see how like your entities, things like users. How is user connected to trips? How is trips connected to activities? How are activities connected to the task, flight, and hotel and thereabout? So you're able to visualize this. And once you're able to see what your database schema looks like and your ERD, the next thing you want to do is your package installer. So a package installer is what helps you run or build your application. So you're able to visualize it in your browser. So we say install package installer. And there are different types of package installer. We have PNPM, we have NPM, we have Yarn. My favorite so far to use is PNPM. And once you get deep into it, you see different types. So once you say install package installer, you just keep clicking on like run. Oh, so I already have this installed. So you check the version. So once you have your package installer, you want to then run your development server. So the way to run your development server is you can do it two ways. It's either you come to your terminal here, where you can say npm run dev, or you use it, you go to, okay, let me see. Let's use yarn then. Oh, if that is not working straight in the terminal, you can write it in your chat. Run my run my development server.
Sorry, hi, Dokun. Before you go further, I think somebody wants to actually quickly get an answer to this because after we leave this, we might not be able to track it. But it's asking what ID is this?
Okay, so this is Cursor. Cursor is an instance of Visual Studio Code. Anthony.
Noted. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So you open the terminal. So then we run it. I just want to be able to show us what our application looks like. Okay. So the problem looks like we have some missing dependencies. So the package installer is trying to install it. You see, I'm not writing any code. I'm just chatting with the agent. So we'll just wait for this to, and we can either move this to the background and keep on with some other things. But because this is a major part, we wouldn't want to move this particular task to the background. So we'll just let this run its course. And so while that is running, I just want to introduce you to some other bits in Cursor. So in Cursor, you are able to set your like different modes for like your agents. You can set it to agent, ask, manual, if you want to push like your ask to background. Also for the different types of agents, I like to use Cloud, Sonnet. It's one of the best models out there to actually build out an entire application, but it costs a lot to use within Cursor. So what Cursor does is it tells you to use auto, so you're able to get the best performance for a cheaper value. Then there is also GPT-5, which is also from the OpenAI lab. It's also very good, but I would prefer Claude. If you're not using Claude for Sonnet, you should use the 3.5 Sonnet. They are very good for writing our code. So let's run our dev server again. So yeah, it looks like it is starting now. You can see it here. All of this, you're not writing code. You're just chatting with the agent, and the agent is implementing the code itself. So once it is ready, we'll click on it, then we'll look at what our application looks like. Then we'll now start implementing features based on that. Okay, so let's just run this. So it is compiling. You keep seeing your response here. Great. So once you're done, you see this server status. It's running. This is your URL. This is the response code. And then when you're done, let's just follow this link. Let me know if you can see the application. Is it visible on the screen? Esther, let me know if you can see the travel planner application.
No, we can't see.
No, we can just see the code now. What's next? Why don't we do also the travel plan application?
Okay, I will just reshare. Is it visible now?
Oh yes, we can see the welcome back interface.
Yeah. So this is what our application that we took from V0. This is what it looks like, right? And we are literally just able to say sign up and just see what that looks like. It says users with this email already exist. Let me just use Iboko A. Yeah. So we literally have an application that we can, sign up and we're able to see this. And when you typically move from V0 to Cursor and you install your package installer, and then you load your dev server, the next thing you want to do is just what I'm doing now. Just go around the application to see what your application can do now and what you want to improve on. So right now we can create trip. So as a vibe coder, right, you can plan your first trip, which is also create trip. You can click on here, then you can log out. The very first thing you want to do is to check for mobile responsiveness. And a good way to check for mobile responsiveness is your Chrome Dev tool. So what you want to do is to check the dimensions of different phones and different computers, right? Interface. So you just look at what your application looks like with this different interface. So this is iPhone 12 Pro. Let's check for iPad. This is what this will look like on iPad. So we'll still say it's still fair, it's good, but not the best out there. So you note your mobile responsiveness. Outside of the mobile responsiveness, you now move to authentication, which is a major part. So we would quickly install and improve on our application, keeping authentication in mind. And authentication will be the first feature that we're going to implement. So just follow on with me. So I'll just come back here. So I'll reshare now to my cursor interface. Please let me know if you can see my cursor interface.
Oh yes, we can now.
All right, great. I think there is a feedback coming from the background. So install Supabase DB, Supabase client DB. So Supabase is a type of is a third-party application that helps with database management. And you want to be able to install that so that you can manage your database. And after we've attached a proper database to the application, then we now improve on it with authentication. So that's what we're going to do in the next 10 minutes. So like I mentioned, everything is just you chatting with the agent and the agent actually implementing the functions for you. So yeah. So you just click on run. So yeah. So what we have now is we have the client side or client side implementation for Supabase installed. I'll share what Supabase looks like for DB management very shortly. Okay. Okay. So this typically happens when your agent is now hallucinating and we're going in circles. So what you want to do is to stop it in its track, and then you're able to see. But it looks like we've installed Supabase. So now that we've installed Supabase, then the concept of API and API keys will come into play. This is our own application, and Supabase is a third party that is going to help us with database management. So what we'll do now is to go to Supabase, create an application that then we'll then use in managing the database for the travel application that we're building. And to make that happen, we will need to create a file called env.local. It is where the API keys are stored, and I'll show you how that is done. So create env file for API for Supabase API keys. So you can see that it has created this here. So it will always ignore this env local when you're committing it to GitHub, and I'll also show that once we get there. We can do another vibe check. Just comment in the chat if you're following and you have questions. Okay. Our env.local file has been created, which we'll use in managing our API. So let me just click on it and you see what that looks like. This is the env.local file. For any third-party application that you'll be integrating with your application that you're building, you would always need this file so you can communicate securely with that application. So I will quickly share what the Supabase interface look like. So we see that. Can you see the Supabase interface?
No, not yet.
1 minute. How about now?
Oh, yes, you can.
Yeah. So when you go to supabase.com, supabase.com, this is what you see. And to manage your database as a vibe coder, there are different types of applications to use. You have Supabase, you have Firebase from Google, and a whole lot of other options. But Supabase is the easiest to use. So what we'll do here is to create a new project. We'll call this Trala. We'll just use a random password. Uh, just don't do this. Just doing this for the sake of our workshop. Then once that is done, then you don't have to tamper with anything in the security option or the advanced configuration. Then you just create a new project. Once you've created your new project, this is what you're going to see. And this part is really tricky. You see, welcome to your project. Then you see your project URL and your API keys. With this, I'm able to ping and create a table in this database. So you copy your project URL, you go back to cursor. I won't be able to show this right now, but once I'm sharing my screen, we'll see this. Then you copy the API key too, then you put it in cursor. That way, you then tell your application to ping the database. So this is our application inside of Supabase and where our database will be managed. So I'll go out to cursor now to yeah. Uh, so what I've instructed the agent to do is to ping the database. Since I've added the Supabase URL and also the public key or our secret key to the database. So once you're doing this within the confines of yourself. You don't want to share this publicly because it makes your application very open. Yeah. Okay, so I want to skip this to say it has been added to the file. The keys have been added to the files. Check again and ping the database. Okay, so the agent is not seeing the key. Uh, it looks like it is referencing another. Check the .env.local file. The keys have been added. Ping the database after checking properly. So it says, great, the connection is working, but the database doesn't have the tables yet. Let me run a simpler ping test to confirm the basic connection. So you run the ping test. Nice. So once you've gotten to the place where you've connected your database to your application, then it is a go from there because it basically means you can now add your tables. All the tables, all the ARDs, everything that we have as a database exists in our local storage in the application. But now we've added a proper database to the application. And with this, I can easily just tell the agent to build out a user profile table. This table will store user informations when they come on top, when they come on board our platform. So yeah, build out a user profile table. And this, okay, let's just do that first. Once that is done, I will show our application again. Just to do another vibe check, are we following, and are there questions right now?
Yes, you have almost 10 questions that are lying in wait for you, probably to round up the session before we start asking.
Okay. So you run it, you get all these prompts in between your instruction to the agent. You click to run, so it carries out the instruction. All of these things, all this while the agent is writing code and modifying all the files that we have in this left pane. So now it wants to create a database service for user profiles. And we'll see what the database looks like. Now it's also creating a README file with instruction on how to set up the database. This will be needed. Okay. So we're going to see the database shortly. So basically what has been created, you see the database schema, TypeScript types, service layer, documentation, test script. We really don't have a business with that. I will just quickly go to the database to visualize what has been created so we can see that. Please let me know once you can see Supabase.
You can see create a table. I will need 5 seconds. The table editor.
Can you see Supabase? Or it's still showing cursor?
Change Trala.
Trala. Yeah. So
Okay.
that's the project that we created in Supabase, and Supabase is managing our database for the application that we're creating. So yeah, I will just try to look for our table that we've created. Let's just check this out. So are there any tables? So it says no table created yet. Let me just check again in cursor. No table has been created yet in Supabase. So we're going to run an SQL that then creates the table. You might not be able to see what I'm doing. Let me just reshare my cursor screen. Okay. Okay. So the last instruction to the agent is no table has been created yet in Supabase because when we checked Supabase, there was no table there. So I literally just came here. Then it gave me this list and it says, go to Supabase dashboard, open your browser and go to supabase.com, sign into your account, select your project, open SQL editor, and copy and paste this particular code or SQL rather. So this SQL instruction will help us in creating our table. So I will share Supabase again and then would implement another feature because of time. Can you see Supabase, please? And you can see SQL editor.
Yes, you can feel it's good.
All right. So once you click to run, you see success, no rows returned. Then if we go to check our table editor now, there should be a new table called user profile. That means we've created a table, a database for our application. So if you click on these, you're able to see ID, email, name, avatar URL, bio, location, website, phone. These are the entities that help us get data from any user that is coming on board our platform. And then what we want to do next is now to make sure our authentication structure is right. So I will quickly show what our application looks like. Then we'll improve on that. So let me see. So this is what our application should look like right now. So if I log out, you see that if you want to log in into Travel Planner, we'll change this to Trala. Let me just copy this so I don't forget. Trala is what we're building. Okay, so back to this particular page. Let me do another vibe check because of time. I used to following, guys. Are there any question? Yes. Let me see. Esther, vibe check on your end too.
Yeah, yeah, I'm here. Would you want me to start running the questions now?
E-
Uh,
Um, let's just take 2-3 minutes to just complete this particular bit. It will just show how to implement a feature high level after database setup. So you see what we're seeing here? We now have our database connected to our application. If you click to sign up, you see that like this is not a standard sign up form. And what we now want to tell our agents to do now, since we have a database, is to create a proper sign up form. We'll just do that, then we can start taking questions in the interest of time. Uh, can you see my cursor page now, or my cursor application? Change travel plan to planner to Trala. On the sign up page, we want to be able to collect first name, last name, email address, phone number, the password and password verification. Verification. So once we do this, I'll just send this to, we can skip this because we've tested our database is running properly. Then I will just send this. So now we want to implement our first feature. Then we'll see how that comes out. Then we start the questions. So we're seeing this. Let me update the user profile types to include the new fields. Okay, we're going to run this. Nice. So you see, let me update the auth context to handle the new sign-up fields. Okay. So it is creating a completely new login page with the updated sign-up form. So we're going to run this. So once the agent is done implementing the code, then we'll then stop our server, then start again. So it is now testing the updated application by itself. So we'll just see what it has done now. Then we see how to implement a feature. Okay, so what has been updated? Rebranding complete. Travel Planner has now been changed to Trala throughout the entire application. Updated local storage keys from Travel Planner to Trala. Then it has updated the page titles and headers. Then this is our new sign-up form. This is our updated authentication systems. You can see what it has done. Then the TypeScript types has also changed. Then the current status. So it tells you that the development server is still sitting here. The branding is now Trala. We've now updated our sign-up form. So we'll say we've implemented our first feature. And because we've implemented our first feature, we need to connect to GitHub and commit that particular change. So I will try to do the committing. I'll show you how to commit your change to GitHub so other people can collaborate. Then we'll see that change. Then we take questions. So if you want to commit your the improvement that you've done, you come here, you initialize a particular repository, right? And then you commit. I'm not sure my GitHub is added to this particular account right now, but would you like to stage all your changes and commit them directly? Yes. Then it just starts loading. So I will share the other page that shows our application now. I don't know if you can see this. Please let me know if you can see our application.
Salah, welcome back. Interface. What you can see.
Yeah. So can you also see that our sign-up form has changed from what it was before to this? So that's how to basically improve and vibe code properly. So you choose a particular part of the application, you start on it, you implement what you want to implement, then you move to the next one. But it is super important that you implement your database management first. You add a database to your application because it's based on that you can now start layering improvement on it. But this is what the application would look like. Then we clean it up. But in the interest of time, I would like to take questions now.
Okay, let's go to questions. Um, I would want to share my screen so that we take a
Okay,
look at the
sure.
questions as I'm moving them out. Yes, it's question time. If you still want to bring in your questions, you can do that within the few minutes we have here left. You can make use of that. Okay, let me hide them, please.
These are
If
great
somebody is
questions.
answering, yes, very good question. Interesting question. I have created an app. I have byte coded. I want to now track real users' behavior and get user data analytics from the app itself than from external form skills. Okay, how is that possible?
So I get what you're trying to say. And for this, I would recommend Mixpanel. You can literally integrate Mixpanel or Google Analytics with your application. So, and it basically follows the same process. In your .env.local file, create the Mixpanel URL code and get the API key from Mixpanel. In Mixpanel, define what you want to track exactly and put the trigger on your application. Then you're able to see the user behaviors. How often can you build an AI product from start to finish on the free version of this agent? I would say on a random day, you can build a pretty solid one, but you can't go beyond building one or two in a month because of the usage limits that they put on their free tiers. So I'll say one or two.
Not true. I think that is also a bit related to the next question. Can you please explain the limitations of the tools you are using?
Um, if you mean in terms of experience, I would say you need to understand the foundation of engineering, things around database, APIs. That's in terms of you yourself, the limitation in terms of you yourself. In terms of the tool, Cursor can be quite expensive if you're trying to do something very big and heavy, and you are trying to use the best models out there. It could be very expensive. So I'll consider that a limitation. And once your app start getting big, you might need to hand off to a proper engineer.
Mm. Okay, next question. I think that's also a bit
I
related.
joined the session late. However, based on what I've seen so far, do you think some software development skills are necessary to vibe code? No,
Okay.
absolutely no. You just need to be able to think of what you want to achieve and then move from there to where you're going to get to, and then keep prompting. I'm seeing database schema and all dev terms. Does that mean I have to have dev knowledge to vibe code? No, absolutely no. But these things are the foundational knowledge of an application in itself. If you just want to drag and drop interfaces, that's fine. But that would limit like some of the things you eventually want to do with your application. But for people that don't want to do any of these dev terms, I would say you should consider both .new or Lovable. Um, you wouldn't have to deal with a lot of these things. Are there any courses you would recommend I take to get better at prompt engineering? Yes, NVIDIA has something good. I will check it out. But I would say prompting in itself is an art, and you should keep it very simple and specific. Simple and specific does the job. There are now browsers with agents, e.g., Comet for Perplexity. Do you advise to prompt there when we run out of credit from Replit or Cursor? Yes, absolutely. That's a cheat code. You can do that, and you can also use Gemini. Gemini also allows you to prompt. What happened to the designs you generated on Stitch? How do you now use those exactly? In the interest of times, I would have shown us how to use the design on Stitch. So Stitch allows you copy the exact code for that particular design. So what I just do is because I like the layout of the login, or maybe I like the layout of the home page, I just copy the code. I come to Cursor, I paste the code, and I tell Cursor I want my landing page to look like this. Reference this design and use the code attached, and it just matches it up. Very perfect. How do I get up to speed on the technical part of vibe coding? Please, are there free resources you can recommend? I would say there are really no technical part for vibe coding. It's just you understanding the fundamental concept of engineering. You would always have to deal with data, database, API. Uh, for the technical bit, start from an idea that you actually want to see come to life and start from there and keep prompting away. You're just writing chats to the agent and just telling it to run. So you really don't need any technical knowledge. In your opinion, is it easier to debug a code generated using AI compared to normal written code? Yes, it is easier. We didn't get to talk about debugging, but debugging in Cursor is just you telling it to check the output it has given you and also taking the screenshot. Say you have an output on your local development server, you just copy it, take a screenshot and paste it in Cursor and tell it to debug what is happening. Prompt is very important while using AI tools for vibe coding. What can you improve? What can you recommend to improve prompting? Like I said, keep it simple and specific. Keep it simple and specific every time. Can QA also test apps built like this? Of course, these days, of course, if you're vibe coding as part of a team, your quality assurance engineer would need to test it. Can we create an AI-powered application using Cursor, uploading dataset and all? Yes. This I've tried before, and I'll just take you back to the env.local file. There you now have your open API keys because then, since it is AI-powered, you will need some of the APIs from the foundational model labs like OpenAI Cloud and the rest. Can we upload our own logo to design? Yes, you can absolutely do that. You just take a screenshot of your logo and tell the agent, add this to the home page or add this, and he adds it. Maybe I missed it, but you created UI with Stitch, but you didn't use it for the app. Is there a reason why? I was going to get to it. It serves as some sort of inspiration, but what I also want to do is if there is a particular part in the UI in Stitch that I like, I just take that particular bit, do a screenshot, copy the code that is generated from Stitch, then go to Cursor, then I paste it there and I put the code, and then it generates the content of my page with the UI in Stitch. So that's the way I would have used it, but in the interest of time. Why did you make sure the sign up feature worked? What would next steps prioritized be? Where would the data land and get sorted and optimized? This is a very good question. Um, where will I start from? So in my scale of priority, when you are trying to vibe code, you want to start first with installing your package managers because those are the tools that would help you build your application, install dependencies and whatever in your code, right? And I wanted to make sure sign up feature worked first because sign up and login are a very big part of authentication. And authentication is the very first part you need to sort out when it comes to security. What actually gets into your application? So to make the authentication part work, you need to sort out database. So they are connected to each other. So because now, and I know the structure I need from whatsoever person or system that is coming on board my platform. So that was why we needed that database to get sorted out first. Then we went to sign up. Then after sign up, the next bit will be going into the application, then looking at, say for trip now, do we want to add budgeting so that if three of my friends are joining me on the trip and we want to budget for it, how would that look like? That means a budget will be connected to a particular trip. That's what the entity relationship would look like, and then we'll define what the interface would look like. Then you push it to your agent, then the agent comes up with the code. How do we get open AI API keys? I would quickly show this. So there is the URL called platform.openai.com. You literally get to select the type of model you want, what you want to do, and then you're able to see that. But let me see if I'm able to drop the URL. Yeah, platform.openai.com. That's the platform. But thank you very much, guys. I really wish we didn't have that break so we could have done a lot more stuff. In my slide, just to conclude, because I know we're mostly PMs, so I came up with a very simple exercise that you can always do and practice and always whatever it is you've learned on this call, you can always practice on by yourself. Please let me know when you can see my screen. Is it visible yet?
Coming up. Oh yes, we
Yeah.
can see.
So something to try out for product managers. It's called feature prioritization. Think of it. There are times after you've passed the initial stage of you building a particular product. You now have new features that you want to add, right? But then they have different priorities when you put them on a scale. And sometimes we have different models to evaluate our prioritization, right? There is a rice model, there is a Moscow model, there is the value versus effort model. Um, on some teams, they value the Moscow model. On some teams, they value the value versus effort matrix. If you have multiple stakeholders that value different prioritization technique, or they would only understand you if you explain to them using a particular technique, you can build this tool that includes all the prioritization model that I have here, Rice, Moscow. There is also the Kano model, but just look at these three. These are simple to implement. And what you want to add is a feature input form where users can enter a feature name and an optional description. Then the field depend on the model selected. Then you now allow adding multiple features dynamically, right? So based on the feature that you've put and how you want it to be evaluated, you literally just do this, and it's going to be a super cool personal tool for you as a product manager. And you can always share this with me. If you have additional question, you can always check me out on my website, my socials, or send me an email. I'm able to collaborate and share my experience or any tidbit with you. That will be it from my end. Back to you, Esther.
All right. Thank you so much, because this is what I would call an AI workshop. Who's again with me? All right. There are a lot of feedback. There are a lot of feedback. Thank you so much, Ibuku. This is in-depth, this is valuable, this is our part, this is AI part. Thank you for the insight. One key thing, I think there was one major question that was being asked. It got to a time it was getting a lot technical. Do I really need to have all of this dev terms, engineering? Do I need to be updated, or do I need to have this dev terminology knowledge for me to be able to write code? But you're able to clear that you actually don't need all of that, but you just need just the fundamental part of it. And if it is getting a bit technical, you can just answer up to your engineering thing. Also, can you get a social handle? I think you can connect to Ibuku on his LinkedIn,
Yeah.
Ibuku and Deji. I'm sure you would want to connect it back. And I think the vibe code check should use this report so that you'll be able to connect where you actually met him. So yes, vibe coding quiz, just 3 questions. I want to know those who are following. Very cheap questions, very cheap questions. I've dropped the link in the comment. Um, 3 questions, and you take feedback. What are your key takeaways from this session? But I just want to know those that were actually following this session. So I call it a vibe coding quiz. I think some people have joined in. Let me present my screen. Some people have joined in to take this quiz. So I just need like 6 to 7 people to join in for this particular session, and we'll take the quiz. Okay. I see Lee has joined. I can see Ima has joined. Don't worry, it's not a tough question. It's just a vibe check, just the way we have been doing since the beginning of the session. Jem has joined, T has joined, Ima has joined, Larry has joined, she has joined, Maka has joined. Just one more person to join in this quiz. And then, all right, Oroluwas have joined as well. Awesome. So I'll be going to the first question. So here's the way to begin. The question is just 30 seconds, and then 30 seconds, and then we'll go to the next question, just 3 questions. All right, so just get a keypad ready. Let's see the first question. So of these, which one of these is not a technical foundations you can't ignore? One of the sessions or one of the slide has technical foundation is just can't ignore. So which one of this is actually not mentioned? Which one of this is not a technical foundation you can't ignore? Typically, which one of these options was not mentioned in the course of the class? 4 seconds left. Then we go to, okay, the answer is what? We'll have the answer. Domain key was not mentioned, but some people chose API, some people chose version control. But majority of those that joined in this particular quiz chose domain quiz. Domain quiz was not mentioned. API keys was mentioned, version control was mentioned, and 3 other technical foundations was also mentioned. Now let's go to the next question. Also 30 seconds as well. No. Next question. Not okay. Let's go to the next question. What application was built on this core? A travel planner, a travel resort, or a planner menu? What application was built on this core? A travel planner, a travel resort, a planner menu? Let's do this. 15 seconds to go. Let's do this. Let's do this. I'm sure a lot of people should actually get this. If you actually follow from the beginning to the end, this is straightforward. It is straightforward. Let's get the answer. Yes. Okay, what do we have? 100%. Everybody for it. Okay, travel planner. Yes, thank you so much. Next. Okay, yeah, travel planner. Okay, I mentioned something about AI product management program by Treford, where we'll be having more sessions like this. I mean, for the constraint of time, we're not going to go into deep depth of what Ibukun has for us. But now we'll be having, I mean, a larger bunch of it in AI product management. And when is the start date? I mentioned it in the course of the break we had. So who remembers when is the start date for AI product management program? I Treford. Okay. Some people were not listening. Okay, October 15th. Some people chose September 23rd. I'm sure some people chose after their birthday date. But then we are here. So the actual answer is October 25th. Awesome. 60% of people chose that. So we have our leaderboard. Jen had the highest number, got the 3 of them correct. Awesome. And she was able to answer all of them within 26 seconds. Followed by Adeyemo Kane, they also got everything correctly. But followed, within the space of 46 seconds. She also got everything correctly. Also, just within a minute, then Oluwase Ifeanyi and Precious got just 2 correctly. Thank you so much, Jen, Adeyemo, Kendi, and she. These 3 wonderful people, I would actually love to see you in our AI product management program. My colleague has dropped the link for you to register, which is highly discounted. This first, I mentioned that we are launching our first cohort. So I would love to see you in class as well, where we go deep dive into what we have, just like what we have this evening. So we'll be taking our feedback. Our feedback is mostly, what are your key takeaways from this session? How will you rate this session in Tibuco? We'd love to take this feedback. So you just go to the link I shared earlier. This is where we'll be taking the feedback. So just rate the session. How do you rate the session from 1 to 5? What are your key takeaways from this session? And what do you advise we improve on? Okay, I think some people are dropping questions. Ibuko, somebody said he's trying to connect with you on LinkedIn, but he's unable to.
Oh, so my socials is so across all my socials, IBKN Adedeji. I've dropped it. So you can reach out on Twitter, IG, anywhere. This is my
Okay. So you can always reach out to Ibuko from IG on on IG or X. Very important. X, Twitter, on IG, and I moved the name for IG. It's just X and LinkedIn, basically. So you can always reach out to me. And across all of it on LinkedIn, it's Ibuko Adedeji, on X and social, IBKN Adedeji. So yes, we would love to get your feedback. How you rate this session with Ibuko? What are your key takeaways from this session? And what do you advise we improve on? I would love to see your key takeaways. What aspects actually resonated with you more? What do you hope to see subsequently at Shepherd event? So upcoming Shepherd event. Then I also mentioned we have an event upcoming. this day, moving from non-technical rules to technical rules. So yes, one person has joined in. Let's have more people to join in and to rate the session. These are the questions you'll be answering. How will you rate the session? What are your key takeaways from this session? I mean, key takeaways, those parts that actually resonate with you more, and what do you advise we improve on? For those that actually participated in the quiz, Jez, Adeyemo, please do well to take a look at our book. I would really love to see you particularly, especially for our AI product management program coming up, starting on October 25th, highly discounted. We want to take the limited slot that is available for our first cohort participants. All right, let's keep it coming. I'm sure if people will want to see your feedback from the session, what are your key takeaways from this session? And what do you advise we improve on? While this is going on, because I know there are a lot of people that have a lot of key takeaways that they want to share. If you do have like a sort of like what thing or yeah, sort of just if I was speech for that.
I, sorry, I didn't get that.
Just like an encouraging farewell speech for us because we are bringing the session to a close.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so guys, especially PMs and non-coding professionals on the call, vibe coding is a super important skill that you need to and you need to improve on. You want to be able to think about a particular idea and just go to your desk and implement that idea and give to your friend for them to test out. You could literally be the next Bill Gates, the next Zuckerberg in Africa. So it's super important that like you improve on this particular skill. So thank you very much, guys, for joining this session.
Thank you so much, Ibukun, for having us. The session, honestly, it was very insightful. It's a full workshop on the joint, how we're able to create Trala, which is our travel planner from scratch, and the welcome page, and then we have quite a number of features we are looking forward to. So if you had to design that, we use probably approach MVP of seeing many of seeing quite a number of things that is written in the documentation. But this is an high hope now, and I believe that it has actually helped a lot of our professionals on this call. So please let's keep our feedback coming. What are your key takeaways from this session? I'm particularly interested in our key takeaways from this session. If you are typing, please type fast so that you can just read all this through and then we would go and rest for tomorrow. And what do you advise? Improve on. Okay, they are typing, let's type fast. Only 2 people have typed in so far. Some people are still typing. Let's do that in the next 1 minute. All right, let's do this, guys. What do you advise we improve on? What is our key takeaway from this session? And how will you rate this session with Ibukun? Okay, 5 people are here now. More people. We are over 30. Okay, yes, over 30 on this call. Let's do that. Let's do that. Some people are still typing. Please let's do that. Just like that. Okay, now let's read what we have. So how will you rate this session? Let me show polls. Let me hide this. Oh, let me share. This is the question and answer. Let me share this screen because I would love to see our feedback so far for this session. Okay. Like how we read this session with Ibukun, I can see 5.0. Also, everybody enjoyed the session with Ibukun. I want to share what I am seeing here. Okay. Okay, let me just read it. I'm having challenge moving from question and answer tab to our rating tab. I will read the session with Ibukun 5.0. Also What I actually take away from this session? Vibe coding is easier than I thought, and definitely get into it. Thank you for sharing. The fact that I just got to know about vibe coding, I need more information about it though. Awesome. Yeah, we are proud to bring that your way. Yes, vibe coding is what is required for PMs, especially in this age, and especially where AI is taking up our career world. Another feedback is tools to use and how to build an app using Cursor. It was very insightful and I learned a lot. Thank you so much for sharing. And okay, somebody shared what the advice will improve on more live workshops from beginner to advanced. Okay, yes, this is one of the things we are bringing your way at Treport. More live session, workshop session, practical sessions. Again, wonderful people like Ibuku on the call to come and take us in those in-depth, valuable session with us. This is a very interesting session with every one of us. I wish it a wonderful week. It's so good to have you around Ibuku and Ibechi. We love the session. And I think this is where if you can unmute your mic where you are, you can just unmute your mic. You can say a very big thank you to Ibuku for this session. If you enjoyed the session so far. You can unmute your mic and say thank you to Ibuku. Okay, blessing is given as a round of applause.
Thank
B
you,
is giving
Ibuku.
thumbs up. Okay, somebody is murmuring thank you. I
Thank you,
can hear
guys.
that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ibuku.
Thank
And
you.
thank you,
Thank
B, for thanking Ibuku. Chief, I can see your round of applause. And yes, we hope to have more sessions with Ibuku more in the future. Do want to subscribe to our Luma page where you have events like this upcoming and then you can save your sleep. Do well to also check our AI product management like course upcoming October 25 and then be a part of the first sitters in our first cohort for this year. Thank you so much, everyone. And do have a wonderful, wonderful night rest and a wonderful rest of the week. Bye for now. Bye, Bukon. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Esther. Bye, everyone. Take care.
Bye.